fellow degens. Welcome to the Pay the Man podcast. Spoiler alert. We provide the worst possible picks on the internet. Featuring your favorite hosts, Jay Grimm and Jay Wiz.
Yo, welcome back. Pay the Man episode 12. As you can see here, we got our man, Koo. What's going on, Koo? How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks a lot for having me on the show. Heard a lot about it. Heard you guys on a couple episodes, and I'm enthused. And congratulations on the show. It's great, and just happy to be here, man. I'm pumped.
Appreciate it, man. Like I said, Koo's been our guy for what? Got to be like 2-3 years now, no? A couple years. We met you through a 32-man fantasy league. IDPs, you got 11 on each side of the ball. Something me and Justin, me and Wiz been looking at for years to try and get into. I'm pretty sure Wiz was all over Reddit. I'm not sure. Wiz, where'd you find contact?
I don't know, like one of those dynasty forums. And this thing is like next level. I mean, we're just used to regular fantasy leagues. I mean, like you said, this thing's salary capped. You got head coaches, you got offensive lines, like things you never even seen in fantasy before. And this thing is like next level. And I mean, Koo's really helped us the whole way.
Took us under our wing, under his wing.
Absolutely.
Well, under the wing is one thing, man. But when they load up them B-52 bombers, the missiles, and all them planes on the base, you got to have some juice in those missiles too. And you guys had it. You've been in a lot of leagues on your own, so you knew a lot of names, a lot of players. You guys know the research. You guys are movers and shakers in leagues, I can tell. So when we talked and we met on this league, it's high tech stuff, like he's saying, describing. Starting 22 every week, and you really got to dig in your names and know, third and fourth guys on depth charts. You really got to know your start sits and really look at matchups on a Sunday, weekly basis, what you're going to do, because it's a lot of involved stuff. But when we met and talked, I knew you guys were going to be there, and you didn't disappoint. First timers in, and boom, AFC Championship game in the semifinals with the Sharks and Dogs. So
yeah,
ain't no humpback whales doing that. No manatees in Florida, something like that. Okay, you got to have the sailfish, it's 68 miles an hour with the sailfish open, the swordfish, or the sharks. That's how they swim. So you guys are in it. That's what you guys did already. So yeah, you got me impressed, and always been impressed with your knowledge and the depth, and that's been great stuff.
Appreciate it, man. And the funny thing is when we came into this league, I mean, we're like, I don't know if you know MMA, but we were like the Colby Covington. We're going targeting everybody. We're the most hated guys in the league, going after everybody's neck. We're winning this, and everybody hated our trades. And I mean, you were like the one guy who actually stood up for us. So.
No, well, fantasy is such an awesome thing, and sports and fantasy, it's part of it for all of us. Look, we're 86 million dudes in America doing this because we're not 1,600 guys in America that are NFL players, but we love the NFL that much. So what do? We got this thing going. A lot of dudes in America play fantasy mode on Madden, and we've all done it. How many hours, how many days in a row when you're with your friends, and we each pick a team in the division, and you start on Monday, fucking that shit lasts until Sunday, no sleep, just coffee, just take out, whatever, we all did it. But it's that strategy, that team building, and this takes it to that level, and you get to do. But, character is although part of it too. So, embracing it like that, that's where it's at. That's boss, like you said. And, our commissioners and some of our management team people, and I myself said it too. That's part of being boss and being up there, man. Bow up, show up, put your hand in your pocket, find your nuts between your dick, and you talk that stuff and you back it up, and then you're okay with it, dishing it, taking it. That's part of it, So being in these high-tech leagues like this and being nameless and faceless and doing this and that, I get it. That's your prerogative. But if you're really going to get the juice out of it, it's the way y'all are doing it, and y'all doing it to the top, to the T. You don't worry about the words, just that you get it that whatever's first is business, and then it's back to okay, So like our relationship, when we talk trade sometimes, I get hot at y'all get hot at me. I know it's okay, it's love, it's business, it's work, and then later it's, hey, what's up about how that thing go? How that thing go? I mean, we got it like that. That's important. So y'all do a great job with that too. So.
It's awesome because it's funny. We joined this league, I want to say our freshman year of college. That's a long time ago now. But what's funny is that we had polls out there. They wanted us kicked out the league. We had our boy, what's his name? Adam, right, from the Bears, making polls. He's like, yo, do we even want these guys in the league? They're not even setting lineups. But then it clicked. Like, we actually got to put time with it. We got to do this. And that following year, we made a run, won the division, made it to the AFC Championship game. I think we made a statement, and everyone fucking came along on that Titans train.
10 out of 10. You made a statement. Nobody talking no more. Ain't nobody talking. Can't nobody talk that no more. Hey,
It's true.
when was the last time? Where's the shirt? When was you in the AFC Championship game last? There's some jokers ain't been there. So hey, no.
I'm still finding ways to lose money though somehow, betting people about my record. I mean, what else am I gonna do?
All do that, man. That's
I mean, people are calling me out. I mean, what am I gonna do? You know, of course we're gonna get more than 10 wins, and it's just not things gonna go our way this year.
You know, there's a lot of folks that got it like that. But like I said, on our show and our media, I just keep trying to point out to everybody, all these dudes can talk, but there ain't no damn Belichick in this high-tech league we're talking about to all the listeners. Ain't nobody run off 5 Super Bowls in this thing. There's people that have won a Super Bowl and next year didn't make a playoff. There's people who've been 16-0, couldn't punch it through, just like the real Patriots. There's people that have had the most points and the most wins, got bounced, but one and done. I've been there too. I've been a number 2 seed, one and done. And my co-host was a number 1 seed, one and done. It happens. And so that's what shows you how powerfully competitive this is. This ownership group is in here, these guys cacking. And that's why, the dude was on y'all. Say, hey man, y'all need to get up on here. Let's kick these dudes out. Y'all heard it. Y'all stepped up to the challenge. You jumped in, boom, semifinals, conference championship. That's a lot. And those don't come easy. And that's why you haven't heard that kind of rhetoric. Nobody said some stupid stuff to you. Oh, that's lucky. This one player did this, 1 week did that, one player did this, some bullshit. Nah. Nobody can say nothing like that to y'all because that wasn't true. What was true is y'all put it together, y'all cracked some code, y'all made some maneuvers, you didn't listen left and right, came through, and you showed out. So that's fantasy top dogness right there, man. That's some ballers.
Appreciate it, man.
That's great. I mean, we're all fantasy football lovers. We have multiple leagues going. Right now, for me personally, I got a total of 7 leagues. Like, it's sick. Like, we all run in so many teams, different needs of different teams, and we're all fucking our heads are spinning 24/7 with this shit.
Now, are you at the type? Let me ask you this: you start out in August, you start out in summer, and you have a feel. Who am I on this year? So you got a mental list. You got your mental list, and everybody got their publisher, I live, whatever, blah blah blah. So when you do this, and you got redrafts versus dynasty, whatever, but how many eggs you keep in the basket, and how does it steer you to be like, I'm steering towards this, or do you forcefully, purposefully be, I gotta diversify. I gotta try some dudes I don't have in this so-and-so league. I gotta try some other dudes in this and that. How is that palpable to you? Is it conscious or subconscious? How does that go for you?
The problem is, for me, I get personally attached to my guys from prior years. It hurts because, for example, I got one guy off the top of the head, Jared Goff. Ways you can back me up on this. I've been drafting Jared Goff probably since his second year in the league. And probably every team. He's on my roster no matter what. And it hurts me to take him out of my starting lineup. It's just that mental lock. So during draft day, I had a draft. Everyone came to my house, hung out here, bullshitted. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm taking Jared Goff in the 14th round. I don't care. He's going to go undrafted in every other league. I'm taking him. I wind up taking him in the 14th round. Like, I understand what you're saying with the diversing the teams and everything. I do, to the most part. I try different drafting methods. For example, my main league that I did, I went 3 wide receivers first 3 rounds. Never did that again in any other league. But actually, it's paying off. I made 1 trade, and it turns into James Conner. I'm sitting at 7-3 in 3rd place right now in that league. Like, I did change my methods. The people I draft, it hurts to draft other people. It's kind of fucking annoying, to be honest.
And if Jay's gonna back you up, like I said, I back you up. Like I said, he's had 4,600 before. There's some of these cats hadn't had that yet. He's had 32 touchdowns before. Some of these cats hadn't had that yet. And I know he's gonna throw 655 times because that's what they do. They got a creative play caller. So I'm on that. The one where you said it hurts. Yeah, what with me it hurts is because for me it was like last year. I went all in on him this summer. I had him in this league. We're talking about this complex league for listeners, and a lot of leagues I have him because in my mind it was they had 3 hiccups. I looked at last year's 3 hiccups where he had those really abysmal 2-point, 3-point games.
Yeah.
If I take 3 hiccups out, this guy's averaging what he did the previous year, and he's going to finish top 6. So it pains me when he has the hiccups again or doesn't do that this year because it's the guy we were chasing. Like I said, we're on a guy. Yeah, it's challenging, and you try to, combat it with, I don't want to. That you don't want to forcefully diversify either, because if you're not on a player, you're not on a player. It's not fun. I'm not going to tell you. There's some guys I've never had in fantasy. My funniest joke this year in the league, I've never owned Drew Brees in his 19-17 year career. Never, never. But 1 year I jump on Drew Brees, I think I'm gonna sneak him out. He'll be a top elite performing quarterback, and I won't pay the same capital others pay. Now the bitch gets hurt, and Michael Thomas is out. He's not performing like that. Go figure. But diversifying is tricky because, like I said, there's names in a lot of years. I never owned LaShawn McCoy in 14 years. I never owned Demaryius Thomas in his 5-year hot run. I can name off the top of my mouth the ones that I just never was. Never owned T.Y. Hilton, even though he's had 1,300-yard years before, and everyone's going to tell me that's their guy they love, like you and I love Jared Goff.
Yep.
But it's not going to sell me on it. Just the way you and I maybe can't sell some people on Jared Goff. But look at the volume, look at the coaching, the teaching, the play calling. They're not going to buy it, so it's hard.
That offense is awesome, man. I love him from the beginning. He can throw for 300 but no touchdowns. But that's a great game. That touchdown's going to come.
Right.
Cool. As to what you were saying, though, I feel like sometimes it just happens. Like, I mean, I've been playing fantasy since I was, I mean, I don't even know it, since elementary school. I mean, that's how me and Grim became friends. There's nobody playing fantasy. We started talking about fantasy. So it's been a while. But sometimes it's just like the way your draft falls. I mean, like, for example, AJ Green, I feel like I get that guy every single year in redraft, and I don't want AJ Green. Trust me, the guy gets hurt every year. He's costing me a championship. Let me tell you a story. I had a championship game. I was up. No, I'm sorry. I was down by 11 points. I 11 points. I had AJ Green and a kicker. I'll never forget this moment. Championship game. Everybody was texting me congrats because I won the previous year. They were like back-to-back champs.
To leave in Denver at nighttime. Let me guess.
Andy Dalton throws a high slant. He jumps up, gets hit in the ribs, gets a goose egg 0.
It happened 2 times in his career. The other one was against Talib, and he had the hurt foot on a Monday night game. And
and I lost. And it just, I don't want the guy, but it's like the way your draft falls. Sometimes you just can't control it. You end up with the guy
somehow, some way, and you always lock eyes with him, and y'all hold hands, and you end up leaving the draft with him. Yeah,
right.
It's tricky in that one. The way you describe, that's exactly a perfect example in a redraft. When there are 5 names, everybody, all of us, when you're good at our expert level, which we 3 are, you have at any given pick I name, I spit out 4.12, I spit out 5.3, I spit out 6.11. You probably instantly can close your eyes and have 4 names queued up. And now it just, as those names come, like you said, it's inside, it's internal bias, fantasy bias. Oh, damn, he's here. Okay. Yeah, I've done well with that before. I've had that before. I've tried it before. It happens. It's tricky how not to, I think that's the unique of fantasy. I mean, you sometimes can look at a whole roster of an opponent of your team, and you just leave a draft sometimes thinking like, what the hell was this guy doing? I don't like any of those dudes. But somehow he would tell you, I love all of these guys, and he didn't like any of the guys you have or anybody else has. He thinks he smoked all of us because he got those guys. And you and I are thinking you got a bunch of C guys. He thinks, no, I snuck out these A guys that you guys think are C.
That's what makes draft day. That's what makes draft day sick. Like, one guy in your head can be ranked number 3 in their book. It's 10. It changes the whole draft sometimes, and it makes it perfect.
It's always about what your personal list looks like on draft day versus the numbers of the consensus or your league. You are a wide receiver guy and you don't like running backs. So you just put all the wide receivers on because you can just use your thing, and you have all these guys listed high. You have a guy, Roger Johnson. You just think Roger Johnson about to go off 1,412 touchdowns this year. You just think it, you know it, you love it. You got him number 4 on your damn list. But we know the whole damn world got him 218. Now the trick is just making sure you don't draft Roger Johnson at 11 You don't need to do that because the world has them at 218. You can probably get by, my idiot. You all right? Just don't do something foolish. Just draft them at 11 because you think, I'm telling y'all, Roger Johnson is about to be the new thing. And then Roger Johnson don't do that. That's also the catch.
No,
How many
me-
leagues are you in, by the way?
You know.
I do 32 teamers. I got 3. My longest one is a 21-year-old one from 2000. It was in 2000. We had an inception draft, 32 of us. So there was a draft that happened, and we put the team together. There was 18 players at that time. You start 11. It's a little half of what we do in XFF, but it's pure 32. So not half and half conferences with copies. So a pure straight 32. In 2000, I remember I had the 11th pick. I took Randy Moss. I remember in round 2 was Isaac Bruce. And in round 3, when I probably should have went to running back or quarterback, I took a then still productive Shannon Sharp. Well, when you do that in 2000 in a 32-team startup, your quarterback ends up being Jeff Blake, and your running back ends up being like Tony Fisher, the pass-catching third down guy for the Packers, and you don't have a running back. So it gets a little ugly. And so, the 21-year-old 32-teamer is pure XFF for 4 years. Now it's in 16, so 4 years in XFF, and another 32-teamer that's 3 years. And then in seasonals, like an August league, I call what I term August league, seasonal league, a long-time league that's 21 years old, and one that is 16 years old. So about five. I recently jumped 5 main. I recently jumped in a smaller league right now. I met some young guys as yourselves. They're doing some great work on some of the things like you guys are doing. And so they invited me in, and we met at a bar watching games once. And we were just talking. Met on kickoff day last year. They didn't know about Gardner Minshew. I started talking about Gardner Minshew, talking about what he was at Washington State, throwing arcing balls. Watch this throw. Watch this. We started talking about some players, and they just kind of went, okay. So they invited me. So I'm in their league this year. I don't know if I'll continue, but I want to give them some props, give them some taps. So about six, but 4.
That's hard to keep up with.
It's not bad. You say you got 9, 12, 17.
Yeah, but redraft is a little different.
You guys got the speed and clicking, and you're doing. That's a lot, man. I just that's a lot. And then you got the friends, and I know you guys, you young guys, y'all be having 12 leagues with 12 different sets of friends too. Yeah. That's a way lot, man. That's a way lot. I want to have the energy for it. I do still have the energy for it and the zest for it. I would maybe like to do like y'all are doing and just click and do, but life does change a little bit sometimes. You can't. So.
What's your idea on a best ball league?
I'll look at those. You asked me about that once. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those variations are cool with the positional one or the best ball or how you do. I think what I've learned is I would have to do a lot of work on it. And the reason I think that, and maybe I'm fearful, it's kind of like the betting thing. I know when you guys were, one thing I wanted to say, but you asked me, is you guys doing this you're doing Pay the Man, you're doing all this betting. You guys are very good with spreads and those. One of my colleagues, a guy that I work with, a guy named Dr. Reiner, he's a Baton Rouge grad and went to medical school there and did his fellowship there. And he's a boudin eating guy like me, saucy, but he can talk that Cajun talk too. And he's a big guy there. He's a big college guy for his football, and I'm a pro guy. But one thing he's not, and I had to teach his son. His son is the assistant. He's the kid that I mentioned sometimes in XFF. So sometimes who's answering my phone and who's doing the communicating, especially during the auction during the summer, the auction bids, who's clicking the bids at the right time at the exact second to get the bid up. That's the assistant, the kid. It's his son. I had to teach him about fantasy football because he didn't know fantasy football. Reiner knows college ball and the betting lines like y'all do. And one thing I've come to learn in a lot of years, 20 years of doing this is, man, there is a complete just a dichotomy, diametric opposite of learning and knowing what we three know in the fantasy side versus what you guys know on the betting side and betting line side. I'm always amazed that guys like you can do both because for me, for example, when I talk to him about a game on a Saturday, what's going to happen tomorrow? Do you like the Redskins or the Giants? Do you like the Cowboys or the Eagles? Do you like this? What's funny is a guy like me, I may have watched a lot of YouTube. I may have seen a lot of Senior Bowls. And I know a lot of Madden franchise mode. I know a lot of fantasy football. And I know who's averaging how many yards. And I know who's getting catches and all that. All of that factual talk is completely different reasoning of why I'm going to pick a team to win, as opposed to guys like you and him who, when you know stuff like who's good against the spread, who's good against the weather, is it a home game or not? And he doesn't need to know all this bullshit that I know about somebody averaging this many yards per game, somebody averaging this many catches. Jalen Ramsey's a cover corner. He's going to lock this other guy down. He doesn't mention any of that stuff when he does his analysis to answer the question, hey, who's going to win that game tomorrow? And it's two different sets of knowledge somehow. Wow. And he doesn't get my points and what I'm bringing up. And he's like, what are you talking about? And when he says, I'm looking at him like, are you kidding me? You're not acknowledging that, the cover corner, Stephon Gilmore's going to be in this game and you're picking against the, but yet, if we make picks, I'm going to fucking go 1-8 and this motherfucker going 7-2. I don't know.
That's why we suck so much, Wiz.
I don't know anything about these games. You didn't know any of the linebackers and the names that I knew. You didn't know any of the stuff that I knew. What did you do? You didn't know any of those metrics.
Sure, I mean, we never said we were good at this thing, but
so I think it's interesting to be able for y'all to be able to separate
the
fantasy aspect from a betting thing. That's very interesting and very interesting thing for me.
Yeah, well, it's like in DFS, when you're looking at, you got to look at game flow, like, if the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the Chiefs, the Jaguars are going to get killed, but you're going to look at guys like DJ Chark, or you're going to look at the value because it's about game flow. You're going to get killed. They're going to get the garbage time points, it's like, but in NFL terms, it's like, okay, Gilmore is going up against this guy. They're not going to be able to throw the guy, so it's just, it's similar in terms of, you got to know the guys, you got to know who's good, who's not good, but it's a little different in terms of matchups, I guess.
Well, I think that's a great point you mentioned right there. Okay, so an example right there, a novice like me who helps or does a DraftKings and does a DFS, does a fantasy lineup, the way you guys have the values for the players, a novice is going to be, I'm going to do some bullshit. I'm going to stack the 4 sexy names and have 4 Bobo names. Yeah. With knowledge, guys like you who have the knowledge, you're not just going to chase the sexy, and then have, I guess I'll have to get these 4 webs now. Y'all know a lot more how to spread it evenly, and the value play of this 3,600 is better than chasing Julio at 7,900. Let me tell you why, because now I have, it's kind of like in an auction or a fantasy roster building. You guys are going to fill out your DFS roster with a whole bunch of B pluses. That's a higher percentage odds of getting paid at the end of the day. I'm going to end up with 4 A's and a bunch of F's. And that's probably has a very low percentage. I have now increased my odds of crashing and burning because I got all those F's.
Well,
but
it's called.
You guys know how to build it with a bunch of B pluses with better percentages of outcomes to come and get paid.
Yeah. Well, going back to DFS, that's like, in a redraft league, you're not going to play Jake Luton, but when you're talking DFS, the value at 3,000, you're going to punt on the quarterback. So you could go up and get Dalvin Cook. You could go up. So
bingo. Right. Like, see, a rookie like me gonna be like, nah, man, hell no.
Yeah.
But not thinking and realize it's not that bad. 3,000 for 21 points ain't as good as chasing somebody for 8,000 for 29 points. That 8 slide is elsewhere. Just like when you and I build here in this XFF league, you try to pick up points here and there. Yeah. There was a time when, when I was poor and I didn't have a good team. First thing I did was I'm gonna have a good special teams. Because if you have the good punter, the good kicker, the good coach, you can pick up 2 points at those. The average guy we all have, a coach, is averaging, 11. But if you have a guy getting 14s, 15 average, that's +4.
At least you want something.
Kern will get you 12. Everybody else is getting you 9s. So now all of a sudden, even though I suck, I ain't got no running back, I ain't got no receiver, I'm not rich like these other dudes. But at least I can get +2, +1, +2, +1. That's my +6 right there. Yeah. That makes up for me not having a star receiver, a star running back. So,
Do you bet at all? Like, I know you were saying, so you don't really sports bet?
Yeah, not really, not as much. Really.
But you said you go to the casino.
I go to a casino quite a bit. Yeah, we live right here down here on the coast, Miss Mobile, about 35, 40 minutes from Biloxi. So they got the good sports book there. They got the Fantasy Kings sports book at the
Okay.
Scarlet Pearl. They got another one, the Contact sports book at the Palace, and they got one at Beauregard. So they got all the sport books.
Okay. So
I'll be in there in January throwing some and this and that. That's about it. Nothing.
where do you play?
I'll do, when I'm at the casino,
Yeah.
poker. Two casinos have a good poker room. They just reopened it for COVID. Now they got plastic shields. They cut the table down from 10 to 6 players. So they've got 7 players. They got plastic shields guards in between. You've seen what casinos look like, some footage. They got 7 players now instead of a full 10 on the poker rooms. And then blackjack. I'll just do blackjack.
Texas Hold'em poker.
Yeah, they got 1-2 no limit. They got 1-2 no limit, 2-4 limit, and then 1-3 no limit.
Could you imagine crew at the poker table?
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's some fun stuff. Oh yeah.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen next draft. XFL
Yeah,
2021.
I think that's what we should do. If we come down here to Biloxi, we come down here to New Orleans. New Orleans got Harrah's Casino right there too. We have Vegas. I think New Orleans. If we can get New Orleans going, I think we got a couple of months. If we get vaccines, we get cleaned up. I think New Orleans will be a fabulous trip, man. I think everybody can stretch some bones. Everybody can get in there cheaply on travel too. And I got a lot of food connections, a lot of talent connections. New Orleans will be a fun go. New Orleans will be really fun. I think we blow it out.
We finally hit that threshold, and we can actually come join you, fellas.
Go and definitely you got to come. Your brother's waiting for you. Your big brother will be here with you, and you'll enjoy. You just get here. Just get here. Your brother will make sure you enjoy it.
Just to close out the show, we got a good game this Thursday.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this game?
Man, last time these two met, there was 34-31, and that was the start of Russell having kind of an odd game. A couple of picks that he was normally not doing. Late in the game, the one that Isaiah, I thought he would lob over the middle of Lockett may have a 4th touchdown. So, I think defense is at a premium out the window because they can't cover. They can't do anything on defense, both teams. PP is still very good, but not what he was. They're going to try to lock him up on DK again and see what they can do elsewhere. I think the running game is still bad for Seattle. Carson's still out. I don't know if he's supposed to get cleared this week, maybe, but it's a short week. If not, then, it's going to be all the RW show all the way. Kyler has been impressive. I was a guy who didn't think this year. Early on, I saw a lot of sideways throws. Through the first month of the season, 5.5 yards per attempt, 6 yards per attempt. There was a point where Herbert and Goff and even Minshew had better QBRs and yards per attempt. He was a lot of sideways throws. He really took off and found in the middle of the season that Jets game, he had a bad line. It's like he went in the 4th quarter and said, "Coach, can I just prove, please, I can throw deep?" He had a long pass to Hopkins, had another long pass that upped his yards per attempt. And then since that game, he's kind of seen, and he's more accurate. We've been talking about this in our league, obviously. L-Jack's 2019 was a difference maker, averaging 39 40 a week. And now L-Jack's 2020 is back at the pack, 27 a week, just a guy. There are a lot of us have a quarterback like that. Now it's Kyler this year up there at that 39 40 a week because of the legs and what he's doing. I still see some things missing on some accuracy throws, and I still see some things where he can be at. So it'll be interesting moving forward. But in this game against that Seattle defense, it's just hard to see him not moving. But I'm going to go RW, man. I think RW going to pull it out this time. I don't think he's going to have as many mistakes. I'm going to go Seahawks. I don't know, the barn burner, man. I think he's even worse than last time. I don't even think 34th. I'm thinking 42-38, some shit like that. 42-38 Seahawks. That's what I'm going to go with.
Who loves the over and the Hawks W?
I was going to ask you, after I shot that out of my mouth, I was going to ask you, what is the over-under and what's the line I was going to say after I said it, so I don't really know. I didn't want to know it before I said it. So I said 42-38. So that's 80 and 4. What's the actual numbers for
the Seahawks are -3, and the over-under is 57.5.
Oh, hell no. 57.5. Oh, hell no. Hell no. 57.5.
So we're doing the coup parlay.
28-20. No, 57.5, 58. So you were thinking, what are they thinking? 30, yeah. 31-27. That's what they thinking. Yeah. Oh, hell no.
I mean, I gotta say, I was on Seattle the last 3 weeks, man, and since that last Cardinals game,
I know,
and they've just killed me. And it's not even Russell, man. That line just doesn't even give them a chance. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher this season, and that defense is just, I mean, it's bad, man.
I think a
They've
lot
been
of the
killing
growth
me every week.
is, I wrote it on slot, these receivers, and I said baby T.O. because DK looked like he about to be baby T.O. He's going to have
Yeah,
a stretch here very soon, quickly, where he may have 40 plus touchdowns in a 3-year span, like Des Bryant did once, mirroring T.O. when T.O. was like that. If baby T.O. can just learn right now, it's going to be hard. It's dogging, like that game last week. Jalen's on you, boy. They threw a stat up, 18 snaps, 20 snaps, 20 routes in a row, no target. You just can't shake him. It's going to take RW every play coming back to the huddle, be like in his eye, in his ear. Hey, it's okay. You're going to win a lot of them like that. All you got to do is win one, because on the one you win, that's the game breaker. That's the home run. That's what I'm going to say. You can win 2, and he can win 50 snaps today. But you go 2 for 120 and 2, that's it. That's how it's going to be. So you got to keep up and stay up. We've heard a lot over the years, the receivers that dog it down. They don't see the ball in their hands. Like in basketball, the 3-point, when Steph's 0 for 10, the worst that you hear, the commentators complain, why'd you foul him? Now he sees the ball go through the hoop, feels good about himself, but he got a little bigger, and now here comes a barrage of threes about to hit. So it's the same way, you got to get some catches, find a way to get him to curl, find a way to get him to drag, just put the ball in his mitts, and all of a sudden get them juices flowing and be like, I'm locked in. So it's going to take that right now for DK, but I think it can come through. And now the second time around in the second game, sitting with a guy like RW, watching the film, like, this is what they did to you. This is what they were trying to take away when we were doing this. Here's the adjustment. Let's see. So I know, I feel you, man. It's been heartbreaking to watch RW like that. But I'm going to roll with it, 42-38.
Yeah. A lot of it just he knows he has to do too much because the defense isn't getting a stop, But Metcalf he had Ramsey on one play, but they were just out of reach. But, he's a great player. He'll get back on Thursday, know. But yeah, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's always good talking to you.
Thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate the invite. Like I said, congrats on the show. I love it. I love the couple episodes you've had that I've listened to. I love the content, the idea. Keep up the grind and the work. You guys are doing it in the league where we're in together. And this is a great project. And you guys, I know, have the mentality, the acumen, and the talent to do this. You're not going to get phased. You can keep doing it, putting out a great product. People are going to watch and want to listen and gain something from it. And that's what you want to do in this. So I'm completely behind you. Highly recommend to anybody, any listeners out there. And these guys are for reals and legits. And my little brothers, I love y'all, man.
We appreciate that, man. Same to you, man. We appreciate you.
Put that tip down, and looking forward to being real life real soon, man. 2021, we're going to do it up. It's going to be
for sure.
Cool. Appreciate it. Like I said, much love.
Pour up style.
All right. Be good, guys. Appreciate it.